And the state's next witness or item of evidence.
State would call Genynne Hiller.
You can raise your right hand and face the clerk.
You swear or affirm that evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Go to the witness stand.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
If you could state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
My name is Genynne Hiller, and my last name is spelled Hiller.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a crime scene investigator and latent print examiner.
All right, and in order to be, I guess, what agency do you work for?
I work for the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office.
All right, and in order to be qualified for that position, do you have to have any special training or education?
Yes.
What is it?
So, I have an Associate's of Arts degree from Indian River State College, and through my almost 13 years as a crime scene investigator with the Sheriff's Office, I have had numerous hours of training. Specifically, latent print training, I've had over 300 hours in friction ridge examination, and forensic training in various forensic disciplines, over 700 hours. I'm a certified senior crime scene analyst through the International Association for Identification, and a certified latent print examiner also through the Association for Identification.
All right, and were you working in that capacity back on August 24th, 2018?
Yes, I was.
And were you called out or responded to an area of Johnson Road and Russos Road out in St. Lucie County?
Yes.
Before I get into specifics or showing photographs, how would you describe that part of the county?
It is a very rural area. There's not a lot of housing in that direct vicinity.
And that would be north of Indrio Road,
To the north of Indrio, yes.
close to almost the county line with Indian River County.
Yes.
As the crime scene investigator, what is your job when you get out to a crime scene?
As a crime scene investigator, when I respond to crime scenes, my primary role is to document the crime scene, analyze anything that might be in the crime scene, determine if it has any evidentiary value, collect and preserve that evidence.
And do you guys document the scene as it exists when you first arrive?
Yes.
How do you go about doing that?
Taking photographs.
Okay, now in this particular case, did you end up taking photographs?
Yes, I did.
Did you end up collecting evidence?
Yes, I did.
And also swabbing evidence?
Yes.
At this time, I have a package that's been previously marked for identification, States Exhibits 40 through 102. If you could go through this and just let me know if you recognize these photographs.
Yes, I recognize all the photographs in States Exhibit 4D through 102.
All right, how is it that you recognize them?
I took those photographs.
And these are the photographs of the scene as you saw it back on in August of 2018?
Yes.
Fair and accurate representation of the scene?
Yes.
This time, State Movement Evidence 40 through 102.
No objection, Judge.
Those items will be admitted without objection.
So I'm going to publish those photos that you just went through, and I'm going to ask you to go through these with me. All right, for the record, we have States Exhibit 40. What are we looking at here, Ms. Hiller?
This is an aerial photograph of the area of Johnson Road and Russo Road intersection that I took from a helicopter.
All right, and which out of the two roads we have Call it horizontal and one is vertical. Which road is which?
The road that's vertical, that's going off into the distance, is Johnston Road, that's going towards the south. And then the road that's going towards the side of the screen is Russo's Road, and it's going towards the east.
So this road here that I'm pointing at?
Yes.
To the east. Gonna bring up now State's Exhibit 41. What are we looking at here?
This is the same intersection. Now we're looking towards the north, so that road that's going off towards the right side of the screen is the Russo's Road towards the east, and the one that's short vertically is Johnston Road towards the north.
State's Exhibit 42.
This is an image depicting the intersection showing that it's Johnston Road and Russo Road.
State's Exhibit 43.
This image is depicting Russo's Road looking towards the west, and beyond that tent area that you see is the intersection that was in the State's Exhibit 42, the intersection of Russo's and Johnston Road.
So the stop sign way in the distance, that's going to be Johnston Road out there.
Yes.
And now we have State's Exhibit 44.
This would be on Russo's Road looking towards the east.
State's Exhibit 45.
This is on Russo's Road looking towards the southern side of the road.
State's Exhibit 46.
This is also on Russo's Road, pointing towards the east, where we started to see some portions of the victim.
All right, and so are you able to see where the victim is located in this photograph?
Yes.
Where's that?
The victim is located on the southern side of the road, so that would be the right area of the road in the grassy area, and there's a blue area that's within the green grass. That is the start of the victim.
And then what you're referring to is right here in this photograph?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 47. What are you documenting in this photograph?
This is just some of the overall pictures that we tend to take whenever we are documenting a crime scene. This is the victim still looking towards the east. You can see her head is to the east, her feet are to the west, and that's on that southern side of Russo's Road.
Now we have State's Exhibit 48. What do we have here?
This is a photograph depicting the victim on the southern side of the road. I am now in a different position. I'm standing on the road looking towards the south, taking like just the overall picture to document the scene.
State's Exhibit 49. Same question.
This would be from the east looking towards the west, showing the overall condition of the scene. You can see the victim still there in the kind of in the center of the picture, and this is looking towards the west.
And we have now State's Exhibit 50.
This is just a closer up photograph of the victim prior to us moving her or doing any examination.
And then we have State's Exhibit 52. What are you trying to show with this photograph?
This is just the overall condition of how we find the victim and how she is looked in the conditions that she was found in.
Did you notice anything in her hands when you examined the victim at the scene?
Well, initially we were only able to see her left hand, which was clenched in a fist. You can kind of see there, and it appears to be grasping something, but we don't know exactly what's in the hand.
So I think we're at State's 52. What are you trying to show with this photograph?
Again, we weren't able to move the victim just yet, so this photograph is just depicting what we can see without moving her. We can start to see from this image that there's some form of injury on her neck. We can see some blood and a little bit of the cut injury that's there.
And what we have now is State's Exhibit 53. How do you guys go about moving a victim at the scene, and I guess what's that process?
I mean, every scene is different. For this particular scene, once the medical examiner investigator arrives on scene, we put a bag, it's a body bag, so that white material that is underneath her up next to her, so that we could roll her directly into that body bag and contain any possible evidence that might be on her backside. And she's just placed there for us to begin our initial examination.
All right. Were there any immediately obvious injuries once you were able to move the victim?
Yes, so in this image, it's depicting the victim. This is exactly how she looked once we rolled her from that ditch area onto her back and into the body bag. You can see there's an injury to the right side of her neck.
And then we have State's Exhibit 54. What are we looking at in this exhibit?
This is a photograph of her right hand, which was underneath her body when we initially arrived. So just documenting the condition of her hand, and it's also closed into a fist and appears to be grasping something, and the hair tie that's on her wrist.
And we now have State's Exhibit 55.
This is more just documentation of the condition that she's in once we take her from the way that we found her, and documenting anything that we see.
State's Exhibit 56. What was the purpose of this photograph?
Again, we're just documenting the hands, the conditions of the hands. She's got her left hand now also is grasping, appears to be grasped. We don't know if there's anything else in there, but it is clenched into a fist grabbing that grass.
State's Exhibit 57.
This is kind of showing a position where we can start to see another injury on the left side of her neck, kind of around her collarbone.
State's Exhibit 58.
And this is just moving in closer to depict that image, or this image depicts that injury that we can start to see on the left side of her neck.
And then we have State's Exhibit 59. What are we looking at in this photograph?
So in the center of this photograph, there is material that we believed
You want to approach?
I'm going to work and ask more questions too. I know what the objection is.
You're withdrawing the question, asking another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
In your work as a crime scene analyst, have you ever had the opportunity to come across vomit?
Yes, I come across all kinds of bodily fluids, to include vomit, feces, urine, blood, saliva, and semen.
Okay. Based on your experience and what you've worked with in the past, was there anything significant that you saw in this photograph that you felt you needed to make sure you documented?
While on scene, we observed the material that was in this hole where the victim's face was laying was consistent with bodily fluid that's consistent with vomit. So we documented that along with the blood that was there.
And this area that's in the center of the photograph, where you can see a reddish color, where was the victim's head in reference to this?
Directly inside that little concave hole that's holding all of that material, that liquid, and the white liquid and the red liquid.
And what was the condition of the victim's clothes when you took her out of the soil on the side of the road?
A majority of her clothing was wet. In some of the photographs, I don't know if you were able to notice, but like the middle portion of her pants were pure dry, but then there was areas where you could see that they were wet. The front side of her was wet. Her hair was wet and matted, and then her clothing was, especially her top, was very wet, and then her face and hair were wet.
What was the condition of the ground where she was found?
So she was kind of in that swale or ditch, so it was also wet. You can see the glimmer of some of the water just below that that little hole where you see the white material and the red material, so you can kind of see the glimmer of the water that's there.
So now I want to go with State's Exhibit 60. Looks like we're now starting to see some markers in these photographs. What are these markers?
The cones that you see depicted in this photograph are cones that we place to identify any kind of specific evidence that we wanted to document, because we don't know when we're there, what's important and what's not. So we place markers for evidence that we want to document and possibly collect.
All right, and for cone A in this photograph on State's Exhibit 60, or let me go actually to State's Exhibit 61, what was of significance that you observed for State's, for marker A?
This image is depicting tire impressions that we observed on the ground from the road, which is the left side, onto the grass. So that would be the grass is on the southern side of the Russos Road, and like this image would be towards the east.
And then I'll go with State's Exhibit 62. What is this?
This image is depicting a close-up photograph of those tire impressions that you observed with the photo marker A.
And State's 63.
Also depicting that same tire marks with the photo marker A.
All right, now I'm going to move to State's Exhibit 64, and then I'll go up to State's Exhibit 65. What are you documenting in State 65?
This area is again on the southern side of Russos Road, kind of looking towards the southeast, and here is documenting a flashlight and some hair that is hanging from the tree and also on the ground. So the first cone, the one that's closest, I think it's B, that is the flashlight, and the cone further away, more in the ditch, is C, and it's marking hair.
And would this be State 66, a close-up of B?
Yes.
And then we have State 67. It looks like now we've moved on to cone D.
So this is kind of a little bit to the east of that area where you saw B and C on Russos Road. Again, looking to the east, cone D is marking that mark that's in the ground there right in front of it.
And what I'll do is I'll pull up State's Exhibit 68. What are we looking at in State 68?
Just the disturbance in the gravel and the divot that's different than everything else around it.
All right, I'm going to go to State's 69. Are we just showing more markers?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 70. Is this the same thing?
Yes, so this is looking towards the east, kind of marking everything that we're finding directly around the victim, who's in the center of the screen at the top.
All right, we're at State's Exhibit 71. Which marker are we looking at now?
This marker is photo marker number, or letter F, and it's the start of a tire impression that was observed in the grass that goes from the grass area into the dirt on the road into Russos Road.
We're going to go to, looks like we're now looking at marker G on State 71.
So F, G, and H, which we have in a line, you don't have F in this particular image, but is marking that brown area that looks like a tire was driving there.
And are you referring to, I guess, the furthest cone to the left, the brown area that's between those two cones?
Yes.
I think we're State 73.
This is just the same area documenting all the cones that are within the vicinity of the victim. We're marking the tire impression that's there between G and H, a cup, and some beer cans that were around the victim's body.
I'll go through states 74, and then I'll go to state 75, states 76. What are we looking at in 76?
This is a paper napkin that was on the ground just to the left of the victim's body, a little bit ahead of, to the east of her head.
Right. As the crime scene investigator, when you arrive on the scene, do you know all the facts?
No,
Do you, most of the time, do you not have very much information at all?
correct. I
So
don't have a lot of information ever.
So do you collect everything that you see?
Not necessarily everything, but we do a lot of documentation and collect a lot of material from most crime scenes.
So we'll go to States Exhibit 77, States Exhibit 78, States Exhibit 79, States Exhibit 80, States Exhibit 81, States Exhibit 82, States Exhibit 83. The photos that I just went through, what are you documenting in these?
Just all the photo markers and cones, with the exception of, I think it was States Exhibit 82 and 83. Everything was on the south side of the road, except for that, this Coke Zero bottle was on the northern edge of the road. But we just document all those cones and all those items so that we know what is there.
So now we're going to pull up states 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. What are we looking at in this photograph? Cone U.
Let me check my report. That's just a disturbance in the grass area that was noted that it was knocked down and in the dirt, so it was photographed and documented.
All right, then we'll go to States Exhibit 94, States Exhibit 95, States Exhibit 96. What are we looking at in States 96?
This is a photograph depicting photo marker V as in Victor, and it's a condom wrapper that was located close to the intersection of Johnston and Russo.
States Exhibit W, or States Exhibit 97, photo marker W. What are we looking at here?
This image depicts photo marker W, also very close to the intersection of Johnston and Russo, and it's a t-shirt that was located on the side of the road.
All right, and then we have States Exhibit 98, States Exhibit 99. Is this the same shirt?
Yes.
And then we have States Exhibit 100, States Exhibit 101, then States Exhibit 102. What are we looking at in 102?
This is the area to the west, so standing on Russo's Road looking towards the west, the intersection of Johnston and Russo, showing the conditions of the weather and the intersection and everything that we see. You can start to see this is more towards the afternoon because there's some storm clouds there in the sky.
So now I want to talk a little bit about the physical evidence that you collected. When you collect physical evidence at a crime scene, what are the other tests that a crime scene investigator can do to those items? Or at least prepare for them to be tested by someone else?
You're asking what will I do with them once I take them from the crime scene?
Yes.
Okay. So once we collect evidence as crime scene investigators, we can take them back to our lab and we can examine them for biological fluids, which would include the blood, saliva, semen, and urine, anything that might help us with our investigation. We can process it for latent fingerprints. We can collect DNA swabs from it. We can take clippings from it. We just do we can do all kinds of things depending on what the item is.
All right. And are you able to do fingerprint examination?
Yes, I am.
And did you examine items for fingerprints in this case?
Yes, I did.
And did you also swab items for DNA in this case?
Yes, I did.
For this time, I want to show you what's been marked for identification. States Exhibit 7. Do you recognize this item?
Yes, I recognize States Exhibit 7 as I have labeled it in my handwriting. DNA swabs, top portion of flashlight, PMB.
All right, so you testified earlier there was a photo marker that there was a flashlight that was found in the grass?
Yes.
And did you swab that flashlight for DNA?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and is that what States Exhibit 7 is?
Yes.
At this time, State would move States Exhibit 7 into evidence as 7.
No objection.
Got a motion into evidence without objection. There's thumbs.
Now, I want to ask you some items about, and before I ask you about, did you do fingerprint analysis? How is it that you're able to do fingerprint analysis?
As I said earlier, I'm trained as a latent print examiner. I am a certified latent print examiner through the International Association for Identification. To become a certified latent print examiner, you have to have education. Depending on your level of education, you have to have a certain number of years in the field. For my level of education, I had to have a minimum of 3 years of work experience as a latent print examiner. I have to go through 2 years of supervised casework while I'm in training or doing on-the-job training, in addition to all my classroom hours of training. And that, again, that was over 300 hours. And then once I meet all the qualifications for testing, I have to take a test. It's a 200 question test that I have to get a 85% or better to pass the first portion of the test. And then I have to do a comparison portion of the test, which I have to get 100% and make 13 correct conclusions.
And have you testified in court as a fingerprint analyst before?
Yes.
So, in this particular case, did you process 10 separate items that were found on the scene?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and would those include 5 Bud Light beer cans, 2 Budweiser beer cans, a Coke Zero bottle, and a plastic cup?
Yes.
Were you able to obtain anything of evidentiary value from any of those items?
No, I was not.
All right, and what does that mean?
It means that I just wasn't able to obtain fingerprints from those particular items. Latent fingerprints are an unintentional recording or recording of digital or friction-rich skin on your fingers and palms or on the soles of your feet. And those fingerprints being left can be affected by the conditions of the item when you're touching it. It can be affected by the conditions where they are left.
You want to approach?
There certain, I guess, conditions that can affect whether or not you get fingerprints off of a certain item?
Yes.
Okay, and can that be the condition of where the item's left?
Yes.
For example, if it's left outside,
Yes.
in the rain or exposed to the elements?
I'll sustain the objection to the last form of the question.
Can the elements or the weather have anything to do with the condition of a fingerprint?
Yes. Fingerprints are mostly water. 98 to 99% water, so they are subjective to the conditions that they are in.
So, from the items that you found, you didn't get any fingerprints.
Yes.
Now I want to ask you, did you also attend the autopsy on August 25th of 2018 of Miss Wise in this case?
Yes.
And was that autopsy performed by Dr. Linda O'Neill?
Yes, it was.
As the crime scene investigator, what is your role at the autopsy?
At the autopsy, my role was to document, again, take photographs, document, and collect and preserve any evidence that we had found or collected during the autopsy.
And did you collect evidence at this autopsy?
Yes.
At this time, what I'd like to show you has been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 9. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 9?
Yes, I recognize State's Exhibit 9, labeled as DNA Baby Boy Wise, and it's labeled in my handwriting.
All right. How do you go about, I guess, collecting a particular item of evidence in general?
It varies from item to item and what we're collecting and what we're doing. For this particular one, this is a blood standard, so the blood is taken from the person and placed on a card with 4 little circles of the blood.
All right. And this is the blood, in this exhibit, this is the blood from baby boy Josiah Wise from the autopsy.
Yes.
Okay. This time, State moving to evidence, which is marked for identification, State's Exhibit 9. The evidence is 9.
No objection.
That item will come into evidence without objection.
All right. What I'd like to show you is, did you also take swabs related to the victim's body during the autopsy?
Yes, I did.
What I'd like to provide you with is State's Exhibits 10 through 20. If you could go through 10 through 20 and just let me know if you recognize these.
Yes, I recognize all of these items.
All right, and then I'd also like to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibits 21 through 25. Same questions. Can you let me know if you recognize those items?
Yes, I recognize State's Exhibits 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25.
All right, so on August 25th of 2018, you attended the autopsy of the victim, Tania and Josiah, correct?
Yes.
And was a sexual assault kit performed on the victim, Tania, at that time?
Yes.
And does that include taking vaginal swabs, rectal swabs, and oral swabs?
Yes.
And is there also done swabs of the victim's both hands of her fingernails and then also hairs pulled?
Both hands, some of the fingernails, pulled head hairs are part of the sexual assault kit. And then, what was the other thing you said?
Was there also hairs that were observed and taken and placed into evidence?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as State's Exhibits 10 through 25, are those the hairs and the swabs that you just described?
Yes.
Okay, did you package each one of these items?
With the exceptions of the ones that are in these envelopes, these are part of the sexual assault kit envelopes, which are, I did collect these from the medical examiner's office, but I didn't personally put them in there myself.
But you were present during the autopsy, you collected them, and that's what's in those bags?
Yes.
At this time, the state would move into evidence which we marked for identification as State's Exhibits 10 through 25.
No objection.
Those items will come into evidence without objection.
Did you also conduct, or were you also present when a search warrant was conducted at 2613 Cactus Circle on August 31st?
August 31st?
Or were you present for a search warrant at 2613 Cactus Circle?
Yes.
And what was your involvement for that?
I was there to document, much of my job is documenting, taking photographs. So again, that's what I was there for, to take pictures and assist with the collection of evidence if any was located.
All right, and did you collect any evidence during the execution of that search warrant?
Yes.
What did you collect?
Some clothing, some vacuum filters, dryer filters, that's all I can think of at the moment.
And I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 26 and 27. Do you recognize those items?
Yes, I recognize 26 and 27.
How do you recognize those items?
I recognize them as my handwriting. State's Exhibit 26 is hair from inside back of blue, underwear from Cactus Circle. These were not collected as part of the search warrant, but on a few days after the search warrant when I was actually examining the clothing that was collected from that search warrant.
So you were present at the search warrant, there was clothing items collected, and these were hairs that you pulled off then from that clothing?
Correct. And then States Exhibit 27, in my handwriting, that's here, and my initials on the tape, that's here, as hairs from the back of gray-blue underwear from Cactus.
This time the state would move, it's been marked for identification is 27, 26 and 27, and evidence is 26 and 27.
No objection.
Those items will come into evidence without objection.
Did you take any DNA standards in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you take the DNA standard of one person by the name of Eric Alvarado?
Yes, I did.
This time I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification as States Exhibit 8, and if you could let me know if you recognize States Exhibit 8.
Yes, I understand. I recognize States Exhibit 8 as DNA standard buccal swabs of Eric Alvarado. It is in my handwriting, date and time of collection, and my tape of signatures.
All right, I don't think, can you tell the jury how do you take a buccal swab?
A buccal swab means to take something from the mouth. So we take cotton Q-tips for the simplest form, stick them in the mouth, rub them around, collect saliva and skin cells from the inside cheek, and then place them into a container to protect them.
And is that what you did with that?
Yes.
And is that taken of Eric Alvarado?
Yes, it was.
Okay, at this time the state will move into evidence is marked for identification is 8 and evidence is 8.
No objection.
That item will come into evidence without objection.
Were you also involved in a search warrant of a Dodge Ram on September 24th of 2018?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and did you perform that search warrant by yourself or with someone else?
With other people.
Who else were you with?
Donna Carmichael and Detective Jason Cannon.
And if you could just describe for the jury, what is the process that a crime scene investigator goes through when searching something like a vehicle?
Our process is always take photographs. We document everything that we do prior to us touching it as we move along. So with something like a vehicle, we'll take photographs of the exterior of the vehicle from the front, the side, the back, the passenger side, just to document how we find it. And then we'll go to the inside of the vehicle and do those same kind of photographs, take photographs on the inside driver, the rear driver, the rear passenger, and then again on the front passenger, just to document the condition of the vehicle that's on the inside.
And are there ever an occasion as a crime scene investigator where you use something that is referred to as Blue Star?
Yes.
What is that?
Blue Star is a blood reagent that is used to help us find or visualize latent blood, meaning hidden, we can't see it.
Under what circumstances do you use Blue Star?
Anytime that we would have a suspicion that we might be looking for blood or want to try to find possible blood.
Did you end up using Blue Star in this particular case?
Yes, we did.
And how do you, I guess, explain for the jury, what's the process? How do you use it? How do you get it onto a surface?
How do I use it, and what was the last part of the
How
question?
do you get it onto a surface? Like, how does it work?
So the chemical is mixed the day that we decide that that we're going to use it, on whatever it may be. We can use it on a variety of things. The chemical is mixed in a spray bottle, so we can spray that chemical onto the object that we're looking for latent blood. We have to work in the dark because this particular chemical creates a chemiluminescence reaction, so we have to work in a dark area. And if we find possible blood, we'll get a reaction that emits light for us to see and visualize, and it's gonna be like a blue chemiluminescence or luminescence that we will see. So we'll set up our area. We're in a place where we can control the lighting. We have a camera set up ready to take photographs. for whatever we may see or not see.
All right, and did you do that for the Dodge truck in this particular case?
Yes.
Did you also collect items of evidence, I guess, strike that. If you use Blue Star and you see a section that's lit up, what else do you do? What's the next step?
We take photographs of the area that we see, like as we are applying it. And then if we find an area of reaction where we get that chemiluminescence reaction, then we will remove that section or swab that section, cut the section, collect the whole thing if we can. Depends on what the object is.
All right, and what's the purpose of doing that? Why do you take it or why do you swab it?
So that we can send it for testing to see if there's any possible DNA and get confirmation whether there is blood and if it's human or not.
All right, for the search warrant of the truck on September 24th, did you document that with photographs?
Yes, I did.
And at this time, I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification as States Exhibits 103 to 115. If you could look through those and tell me.
Yes, I recognize the photographs, States Exhibit 103 to 115.
Is that photographs that you took during the search warrant?
Yes.
And then does it also show the documentation of you using Blue Star on the defendant's vehicle?
On the Dodge Ram, yes.
On the Dodge Ram? This kind of statement moving evidence is marked for identification. States Exhibits 103 to 115.
No objection.
Those items will come into evidence without objection.
All right, for the record, we have what's been entered into evidence now as States Exhibit 103. What are we looking at?
This is a photograph of that Dodge Ram in our evidence bay where we conducted all of the documentation and the application of the Blue Star. This is a front photo of that Dodge Ram and just kind of depicting how I'm finding it on that date. So I simultaneously will work around the vehicle, showing the front, the sides, the rear the best I can, and then the other side.
All right, and before I go through all the photographs, I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, where are we in the photograph? Where is this photo taken at?
This photograph is taken at the St. Lucie County Sheriff's in the crime scene processing bay. It's a secure bay that we have access to in our evidence custodians.
All right, now in this particular search of this car, did you collect items of evidence?
Yes, I did.
And what I'd like to do is show you first I'll show you what's been marked for identification as States Exhibit 29. Do you recognize States Exhibit 29?
Yes,
How is it that you recognize it?
I recognize it as it's labeled section of carpet from driver's side in my handwriting, and again with my initials on the tape here.
Same question as to States Exhibit 28. Do you recognize 28?
Yes.
How is it that you recognize 28?
This is a section, or this is a set of DNA swabs collected from behind the driver door handle, and it has my initials on the tape here and here.
All right, so when you did a search warrant on this car, did you swab multiple parts of the vehicle to see if you could get any DNA to send out for DNA analysis?
That was done post-application of Blue Star based on where we had reactions.
All right, so items that you pulled during the execution of this search warrant were based on what you saw from the Blue Star?
That is correct.
So for State's Exhibit 29, why did you take this section of carpet from the driver's side?
Because we had a reaction in that area in the carpet, so we collected the whole area to be sent out for possible testing.
And I'd like to now show you also what's been marked for identification as State's Exhibits 30 and 31.
I recognize State's Exhibit 30 as being the driver's side seat cover from Dodge truck. I recognize it as my handwriting. My initials are here on the tape. And then State's Exhibit number 31 as my handwriting labeled as driver's side visor. And my initials here on the tape.
And then same question for State's Exhibit previously marked for identification as 32.
Yes, I recognize the State's Exhibit 32 as labeled in my handwriting section of front driver's seat belt and my initials here on the tape.
All right, so for those items, the seat belt, the sun visor, why did you take those items from the truck?
Again, these were collected post the application of the Blue Star. Anywhere that we observed a reaction with the Blue Star was collected or swabbed.
So at this time, the state would move into evidence which marked for identification as State's Exhibits 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32.
Any objection?
No objection.
Those items will come into evidence without objection.
And then what I'd like to show you again is State's Exhibits 155, 156, 157, and 158. Do you recognize those items?
I recognize State's Exhibit 155 as it is labeled swabbing from tarp of armrest, and my initials are here. State's Exhibit 156. I recognize as it is labeled driver's door armrest at pull bar and my initials here. State's Exhibit number 157. Labeled as driver's door panel top edge of storage area, and then my initials here on the tape. And State's Exhibit 158. DNA swabs from the seatbelt buckle, date and time of collection, and then my initials here on the tape.
All right, and are these items that were also taken during the search warrant of the vehicle?
Yes.
And these were swabs that were done by you?
Yes.
At this time, the state would move in evidence which would mark for identification as State's Exhibits 157, 158, 156, and 155.
Any objection?
No objection.
Those items will come into evidence without objection.
So let's go back to the photographs that you took. So State's Exhibit 103 for the record, you've testified this is the truck that is the subject of the search warrant?
Yes.
Okay, and then we have 104, what are we looking at?
These are the photographs of me just working around the Dodge Ram truck. So this is the driver's side vehicle from me standing at the rear.
All right, now we have State's Exhibit 105,
This is the rear of that same Dodge Ram truck.
State's 106,
The passenger side of the Dodge Ram truck.
State's Exhibit 107,
The front passenger hood area of the Dodge Ram truck.
State's 108.
This is a photograph depicting the interior driver's side area of the Dodge Ram truck.
Alright. States 109.
This is a photograph depicting the same inside driver area of that Dodge Ram truck. If you would like, I could get up and.
If you could.
This is after the application of the Blue Star. And then here we see the chemiluminescence blue color that you see there is that reaction to the Blue Star.
Alright, and then what I'd like to show you, if you want to just stay here for one moment.
Okay.
So we have States Exhibit 111. This is States Exhibit 111 now that we're looking at. What do you see of significance? And I guess who is the person that's in that photograph and what are they holding in their hands?
This image is depicting again that driver's side area of that Dodge Ram. This person here is the crime scene supervisor, Donna Carmichael, and she is holding the bottle of Blue Star that is being applied to the driver's seat of the vehicle. We're working in tight quarters there. Here you see that chemiluminescence reaction happening on the driver's butt area and a little on the center console.
Alright, and what I want to do is I want to go back one picture to, I guess, 110. So previously you showed us in this photograph there was an area where you saw the Blue Star illuminated. What do you do with that section? What is the next thing that you did?
For this type of material and this particular vehicle, we determined that it would be best to just remove that whole carpet area out of the vehicle and send that whole section to the lab for testing.
Alright, now if we go to the next two photographs, is this States Exhibit 110? Has that piece of carpet then been removed?
Yes, so you can see the interior portion of the Dodge metal is exposed now, so we've removed this whole section.
And is that the same carpet that we just was admitted in evidence as States Exhibit 29, the piece of carpet that you identified as getting from the search warrant?
Yes.
States Exhibit 111, and now we go to States Exhibit 112. What has happened now in this photograph?
Again, due to the material, we decided that we would just remove the whole seat cover, the bottom, and the backing to send to the crime lab for possible testing.
And so what we're looking at here in States Exhibit 112 is that the driver's side seat cover that was taken that was previously entered as States Exhibit 30.
Yes.
All right, and now we have States Exhibit 113. What is the significance of this photograph?
This photograph is depicting the driver's side door during the application of the Blue Star. Here, Blue Star does react with the iron and the blood, so we will get a reaction on metal surfaces here. And then we have some chemiluminescence reaction happening here along the door, on the handle, behind the handle, and then down.
All right, so Blue Star does react with metal.
Yes.
So on metal surfaces, it lights up.
Yes.
But there's not metal surfaces on all portions in this picture.
Correct. In the areas that I just identified on the driver pull bar, on the armrest, in that storage cubby area, there's no metal.
States Exhibit 114. What were you, I guess, attempting to show with this photograph?
This is during the application of the Blue Star on the driver's side headliner and sun visor area. So there's some chemiluminescence reaction happening here and then along on the visor.
All right, and previously entered into evidence, States Exhibit 31, the sun visor from the Dodge Ram. Is that the sun visor that we've already put into evidence as States 31?
Yes.
And now we are looking at States Exhibit 115. What are we looking at here?
This image is depicting, I'm actually in the truck, and this image is depicting the driver's side seatbelt it's been pulled down to show the chemiluminescence reaction happening on the seatbelt here.
And in states 115, was that section of the seatbelt removed from the Dodge Ram?
Yes.
And is that the section of seatbelt that's previously been entered into evidence of States Exhibit 32 that I just showed you?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Hiller. If you want to go back to the witness stand. Alrighty. Did you return to that Dodge Ram again on January 8th for the purpose of collecting additional evidence in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what was that?
Tire impressions. So to collect known tire standards to send for comparison against the images that I had taken of photo marker A at the crime scene.
All right, and what process do you use in order to take samples from the Dodge Ram?
For this particular case, we did two process. We collected some ink standards of the tires and then some mat boards that the tires rolled over the mat board and depressed the tread into the boards for the tire examiners to compare.
And would you do those for each tire?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification. I don't know if it's easier for you to stand up or however you want to do this. But we got states exhibits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you want to look at those and tell me if you recognize these. If you want to pass them to me after you look at them, that's fine. Here's one.
I don't remember if that said it. Inked impression of. I recognize States Exhibit 1 as a rear passenger ink impression from the Dodge truck. It's in my handwriting. States Exhibit 2 as a rear driver ink impression from the Dodge truck. In my handwriting. States Exhibit 3 as rear passenger known tire impression Dodge truck. Also in my handwriting. States Exhibit 4 as the front passenger known tire impressions from Dodge truck. In my handwriting. My initials are on all the tape here. States Exhibit number 5. Rear driver known exemplars. In my handwriting. And again, my initials on the tape. States Exhibit number 6. Front driver tire exemplars from Dodge truck. That was a lot of fun.
So states exhibits 1 through 6, are these the standards you took of that Dodge Ram truck that we previously just saw photographed?
Yes.
Okay, and so what is inside of this brown envelope?
It's board. It's kind of in between like cardboard and foam, and you can, it will, the weight of the truck will depress the tire tread marks into the board.
This time the state moving evidence was marked by application states 1 through 6. And evidence is 1 through 6.
No objection.
Those items will come into evidence at this time without objection.
Right here. Thank you, Ms. Hill.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Cross-examination?
Just briefly, Judge. Maybe you said that the blue star reacts with hemoglobin, or the iron in hemoglobin, right?
Yes.
Okay. And hemoglobin can be present in other substances in the body other than blood, is that right?
Not to my knowledge.
For example, let me ask it in a more clear way. You can have blood in your vaginal fluid, is that right?
Yes, you could.
Okay. Not just when you're menstruating, but say you are having sexual intercourse. It could cause you to have blood in your vaginal fluids.
Yes, you could have blood during intercourse.
Okay, and likewise, you can have blood, which contains hemoglobin, and then the iron in that hemoglobin in your saliva too, correct?
If you have a wound that is bleeding, yes.
Or periodontal disease,
There'd have to be blood.
right?
There'd have to be blood.
Or any type of gum injury.
Yes, any kind of injury.
Now, when you searched the truck on September 24th, 2018, I think you said that was pursuant to a search warrant at the Cactus Avenue residence?
The truck on September 24th,
Correct.
that was the search warrant just for the Dodge Ram at the sheriff's office.
Okay, I'm sorry, the truck was at the sheriff's office.
Correct.
Okay. When you did that on the 24th of September, where had the truck been prior to that search?
At the sheriff's office?
It had remained at the sheriff's office the whole time?
Yes.
Okay, from what date?
The truck was collected August 27th of 2018.
Okay, and remained at the sheriff's office, to your knowledge, until September?
Yes.
No further questions for this
May
witness?
you redirect the state?
No, sir.
May Ms. Hiller be released from her subpoena at this time?
Subject to recall.
You may step down subject to recall from the attorneys.